Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode of the Gamers Podcast. We're back here. It hasn't been too long since the last podcast, but I was kind of saying how there's a lot of good stuff to talk about in between podcasts and whatnot. And yeah, this is one of them. So, Borderlands 4, just going to get it out of the way. That's what we'll be talking about. It's the newest Borderlands in the series, and I really enjoy Borderlands. We've had gameplay of Borderlands 2 here on the channel, and plus, I just enjoy Borderlands. It's not necessarily one of my top all time favorite games, amongst others, but it's a games it's a game series I've enjoyed. I played some of the games, and yeah, it's just and plus just on top of all that, it's just another game to talk about, an upcoming game coming out to kind of talk about here on the podcast. So regardless, it's worth it. So we're gonna be getting into it a little bit here. Fortunately, I could not pull Borderlands gameplay just because I don't have it anymore. It was on Game Pass, and then I kind of got removed. Then I just don't have Borderlands. So unfortunately, usually I try to make relative gameplay to what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, that's not the case today, as I just don't have Borderlands gameplay or anything like that to record. So unfortunately, we'll be dealing with Walking Dead gameplay, but that's it is what it is. But most of the time, I try to go for that, and that's what kind of it pans out. But for today, I don't have Borderlands gameplay to show, so just kind of bear with me with that. It's not the biggest detail, but it's something I wanted to point out. It's not the biggest deal or anything, but like I was saying, just something I wanted to point out. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of be reading about the upcoming, and then I think I'm gonna make a follow up podcast after it comes out. It's supposed to be released on September 23rd, 2025. So in the next few months here, towards the latter end of the year. So it's coming out, and I'm gonna be talking about it probably after it comes out. Sometimes I'll do a follow up podcast, like I'll do like with Black Ops 6. I made a podcast kind of before it came out, kind of talking about it. Then I made a podcast kind of after it came out, doing my final analysis and thoughts on it. So it kind of depends on the game. Sometimes I'll do that, but I think with Borderlands, once it comes out, eventually in September, I'll make a follow-up podcast to this. So that'll be kind of the case. But for now, I don't think there's too much to go off of, but I'm going to be getting what I can from the Wikipedia. It's a great, the free encyclopedia. Wikipedia, it's a good site for, everything you really need. So we're going to be diving right into it. So Borderlands 4 is an upcoming first-person shooter video game developed by Gearbox Software and published by 2K, of course. It's a sequel to Borderlands 3, also made in 2019. It's, that was made in 2019. It's the fifth entry in the main Borderlands series. The game is set to be released, September 23rd, 2025 for PlayStation 5, Windows, and the Xbox Series X and Series S. And kind of going into the gameplay here, as with its predecessors, the game is first-person looter-shooter, with elements commonly found in action role-playing games. Gearbox described the game's world as seamless, and there will not be any loading screen as players explore new areas, which is pretty cool. New vehicles, transversal tools such as a grappling hook are introduced in Borderlands 4. The game can be played solo or cooperatively with 3 other players. And the synopsis of the plot is Pandora's moon, Elpis, after being teleported away by Lilith using her siren powers, destroyed by the protective barrier of a planet named Kyrios. In Borderlands 4, players assume the role of a vault hunter who must lead the resistance against a ruthless dictator named the Timekeeper and his army of synthetic followers, named the Order of Kyrios, while searching the secret alien treasure. Sorry if I butchered some of that pronunciation of the name. Apologies for that. Developer Gearbox Software began working on the game prior to the release of Borderlands 3 in 2019. Gearbox described Kyrios as a seamless playable space in which players can explore various locations of interest without being interrupted by any loading screen, which I think is pretty cool. While the team avoided using the term open world, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford claimed that Borderlands 4 was the most open and free game in the franchise, contrasting Borderlands 3's planet-hopping structure, which involved in a more compartmentalized design. As with its predecessors, Borderlands 4 was envisioned to be a humorous game, though the team wanted to ensure that the humor derived from the emergent gameplay, in which the playable Vault Hunters will react to the actions performed by players. As Borderlands 4 was set in a new planet, the game features an all-new cast. It has also offered an opportunity for the art team to create landscape distinct from those on Pandora, with art director Adam May describing Kyrios as a high-tech but lo-fi setting. Take-Two Interactive, following its acquisition of Gearbox from the Embracer Group in March 2024, confirmed that a new title of the Borderlands series in development. Publisher 2K officially unveiled the title in August 2024 and released its first gameplay footage at the Game Awards in 2024, which we went over, I think, in the Game Awards podcast earlier. This game currently is set to be released on September 23rd, 2025 for Windows, PS5, and the Xbox Series X and S. That's more or less the end of the article here on the Wikipedia. Again, kind of like with the pregame, it's not, there's not always too much to go off of. Like, I've watched the gameplay from the Game Awards, but typically when I make a podcast about kind of the before the game comes out, there's not too much to go off of. But when I make a follow-up podcast, there'll be more more to go off of course, there's gameplay. Like, the gameplay was revealed, but it's not much. Plus, there's not much to go off of with the wiki, so I'll be probably making a follow-up podcast now. I'm gonna kind of be going into more or less my analysis on it, what I think of it, just because it's an upcoming game, and I think I'm gonna play it. I think I'm gonna get it and play it. I'm gonna, I'm into Borderlands. I think the concept of the Borderlands games are cool. And I think I'm gonna get Borderlands 4. It should be pretty fun to play. It sounds like a fun. Now, I guess I didn't want to use the word open world, but I think it's a pretty fun open world game to play. Even though that's not necessarily the case, but I think it should be pretty fun to play. It sounds like a fun plot, and I think there's plenty of humor mixed in. And I think, judged by the other Borderlands games, they did some pretty good jobs on it, and I think it'll be cool to play. I think I'm going to be getting Borderlands, playing it. I'll probably come out with some gameplay here on the channel, and then be making a follow-up podcast. Then I'll have some gameplay for it, Borderlands 4 directly, but we'll kind of see how it all goes once it comes out. But it should be a pretty fun game, and I figured I'd just make a little quick podcast here, kind of talking about it, just considering it's an upcoming game, and it's coming out it's coming out in the year, so it should be pretty fun. But yeah, I don't really have anything else too much else to say about it. Just looking forward to it, and I'll again have a lot more to say about it, kind of towards when it comes out and after it comes out, because I'll be making a follow-up podcast. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Comment down below what you guys think of Borderlands 4. Do you think from what you've seen from the gameplay so far, do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be bad? Whatever it is, are you a fan of the Borderlands series? You going to buy it? Whatever it is, it may be. Comment down below what you think of Borderlands 4 coming up. So be sure to comment all the stuff, the usual stuff, feedback, along with all that feedback down below in the comments section. All that good stuff. I got more stuff coming out this week and kind of into the next few weeks with kind of coming into springtime and kind of fun stuff here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe for more content, like this video, all that good stuff. Discord, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, links in the description. Again, just really trying to stay active on all the socials. But yeah, with all that being said for now, I will see you guys in the next video.